So if you want to make $100,000 in a year, you need to be making $273.97 a day, or $8,333.33 per month. Now to some of you, that might sound like a ton, and to others, that can seem very doable. If you break it down, $273 a day. That's not way out there. We know that's something we can definitely achieve. I went ahead and I looked up the average minimum wage. The kind of minimum is $7, and I think it was either 25 or 50 cents per hour. That is the federal minimum wage in the United States. Now, some places are higher. The average is about $8. So I'm gonna say if you were to make $8 per hour, you'd have to work 12,500 hours to make $100,000 in 1 year at minimum wage. To put that in perspective, you would have to work 365 days, 24 hours a day, and if you did that, you would only have worked 8,760 hours. And with that, you would have only made $70,080. Now, looking at that, I don't want a minimum wage job, and I don't think most people do. I think most people stay with that, and some people need that to survive, and that's fine. But that is not the way, obviously, to make six figures in a year. So enough talk about the statistics. I want to show you guys what you actually need to do. Now, there's a couple things we need to figure out first. And the first one is, where are you starting? Everyone's starting at different places. Do you have $0 to your name that you want to start a business, do whatever you want to do to make those six figures? Or do you maybe have a couple hundred or even a couple $1,000s to begin? And the answer for what you're going to need to do is going to depend on that. I'm going to break this down into three categories for you guys so I can go over this quickly. So I'm going to break it down into you have less than $100 to invest to make this $100,000 in the next year. That's category number one. Next, you have $100 to $700. If you fall anywhere in between there, you're in category number two. And thirdly, if you have $700 plus, you're in category number three. So I'm going to break those down based off where you're going to start. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, the whole goal here is going to be to build a business that can generate six figures a year. That isn't something where we're trading our hours, our time for money. That is not our goal. So let's start with category number one. You have less than $100. Well, our goal here, we need to make a little bit of money so we can have enough to go start a real actual business. So I'm going to say, for the sake of this video and most of these, you need about $700, I'll say. You can start businesses with less, yes, but to feel comfortable, I think 700 is a good number for multiple of the businesses you see online, whether it's Amazon, Shopify, affiliate marketing, whatever it is. Category number one, if you have less than $100, what are you going to do? We need to turn, we're going to say zero for the sake of this video. We need to turn that zero into 700 as fast as possible. So what can we do to do that? There's multiple different things, but my favorite probably is going to be anything that's service-based. It's going to be you either offering your time. This can be working that minimum wage job, whatever it is. You need to be offering your time or offering a service in exchange for something. You can't be kind of paying for something or something that you need to do. You can't be buying inventory if you have $0, obviously. So what can you do? Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, great. I have pretty much no skills I can really offer someone. How do I find people to offer them to? And the truth is, these don't have to be actual skills. I've made a video on this before. If you guys want to check it out, I'll leave it on the screen. It will be the link in the description. You can offer different types of services that you can do for free online to people on Fiverr or Upwork or any site where you offer services. Fiverr and Upwork are the biggest. Now, there's so many different things you can offer. And on that video I put on the screen, you can offer to remove the background from a photo. And you're saying, okay, I don't have Photoshop. Well, there's a website, you upload a photo, you click the thing you want to cut out, and you click what the background is, click a button, and it removes that background for you. Now, people will pay $5 for that. Maybe not $5 a picture, maybe if you do 5 pictures, it takes you 2-3 minutes, and then you just got $5 from that. And you can do that with multiple different services, or really focus on one. Another option there is you can caption videos for people. So let's say I'm making this YouTube video right now. I want subtitles on the bottom. There's tools where you can do that for free and then do that in exchange for someone else. And normally on Fiverr, you pay $1 per minute. So if I have a 10-minute video, I'm gonna pay you $10 to write those captions. Now, don't worry, you're not going to be writing them out. There's different tools you can use, and I do mention that in that other video, but I'm not going to break them down in here. If you guys are interested in that, you can pause this, go pull that up. You can make Instagram videos. So if you guys follow Gary Vee, have seen anything, I'll show one on the screen right now, actually, of a video I made very quickly using a tool where you have the little progress bar, you have the subtitles, you have a video for IGTV or Instagram, and people will pay $5 for a 1 minute video of that for Instagram, or you can do a package deal. And you just offer these services. You can do it through Instagram DMs, you can do it on Fiverr, you can do it on Upwork, you can do it on eBay. There's so many different places you can offer services, but because we have zero starting out, you're gonna need to offer something that is taking your time, not your money. Now for category number 2, it's $100 to $700. So if you have a little bit of money, the best type of business you can do in order to build that initial capital so you can go start an actual business is gonna be reselling or flipping things. Now this is what I personally did. I did this to build up my capital to initially start my Amazon business. I had a couple $100. I think I spent $300-400, and within 2 months I turned that into $1,300 by flipping and reselling things. Now, there's different ways to do this. You can go to garage sales. You can be Gary Vee in that sense. You can garage sale, resell it on Amazon or eBay, but there's so many different ways to do this. And the main one, if you guys want to look this up, of course, I have a video on this. Leave it on the screen in the description again. It's called retail arbitrage. Now, what it is you're pretty much buying an item from, it can be online, you can go to Target, to Walmart, any store. You're looking up the price on Amazon to see if it sells for more on Amazon, because a lot of times it does. I found a suitcase that sold, I think it was for $18, and I went and I flipped it and I sold it on Amazon for, I think it was like $36. Now there are some Amazon fees and other things, but there's still a ton of profit there. So retail arbitrage is just buying low and then selling high different types of items. Now, obviously not everything is going to sell more on eBay or Amazon or Pinterest, but doing the in-store, or if you're looking at any coupon websites online, you can scan those prices or just cross-reference them on Amazon, and you can see if they sell for more on Amazon than they do wherever you're looking, and then sell them on Amazon. Now, the only cost here is going to be obviously your inventory, and an Amazon subscription is $40 a month to be a seller. They do have a lower tier, but then you're also paying $1 per item you sell, plus whatever the normal percentage is. It's about 15% is the fee you're going to pay. So it's whatever you want to do. You can do that there, or just eBay. That is how I found the most success. If you have $100, $200, $300 and you want to turn that into more pretty quickly, reselling and flipping is the best way. Now, that's not something that's really scalable. You can scale it, but you'd have to hire other people, and that's not the business model that I think you should go after if you're trying to make 6 figures, because it's going to be a ton of work and it's not very passive. So that's going to be for that second category if you're $100 to $700. Now, if you're in the third category, the $700 plus, you have a decent amount of money, you're ready to start an actual business. The type of business you're going to want to look for is something that is scalable. So it means it's not too difficult to go from making $3,000 a month to making 10 or 20. And not difficult in the sense of, oh, it's easy, I press a button. Difficult as in you'd have to hire an entire team. It's a lot more time and effort. Not in that sense, but in the sense you can keep growing and it's somewhat passive. Now, when I say passive, nothing is ever fully passive. If you're starting an Amazon business and you have a product running and you rank it and start selling, you're still gonna have to check on things like the listing, make sure if you're running any ads, those are doing well, and a couple things. Passive is in the sense I can go to sleep and my business is still running. I don't have to be there for it to be making money. And we're also going to want to make sure this is a long-term business and it's something that can be consistent over time. It's not some fad or trend that's just going on. And we want it something that can grow over time. So if it's Amazon, Amazon's going to be here for a while, in my opinion. They've been growing insanely quick and already are over $1 trillion as a company. So with how they're growing, I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. They're just moving into different niches. But that's something that is long-term, and that's something that you can scale, that's passive, and there's so many businesses like that. And if you're wondering other examples of these businesses, we said Amazon, Shopify is like that, affiliate marketing. If you're doing the social media marketing, you'd have to outsource a ton of stuff, but that could be a little bit passive. But all of these are great ideas and businesses you could start, and having that initial capital is going to help. So now we broke that down, we need to know the next step. So the next step you need to take after you have that money, you're ready to invest, is you need to choose what business you want to start. You need to research these businesses. And there's so many different options that people sometimes get overwhelmed or don't know where to start, or they'll say, I don't know what works. And if you guys take one thing away from this, know all these different business models work, whether it's Amazon, Shopify, affiliate marketing, growing a YouTube channel, social media marketing, whatever it is, all these models work. There's none where it's like, oh yeah, you can't make 100,000 doing that. You can make $1 million doing every single one of them. It's just figuring out what works for you, what you enjoy doing, and kind of how you think. Because some of them, with Shopify or affiliate marketing, you need to know how to run ads pretty well in order to be successful. And that's a more advanced skill in my opinion. So that's not something I would tell usually beginners to start. If you're pretty analytical, you like looking at numbers and saying, okay, this converted at this because of this, then something like Amazon is probably more for you. So it's just figuring out the different things. Like if you're doing social media marketing, you need to know how to do sales. You have to be able to talk to people. So it's just figuring out those skills in which you enjoy. And for me personally, that's why I chose Amazon, because I wasn't good at sales. I didn't know how to run ads at the time. So by default, that's kind of the one thing I chose. And just make sure you're not saying what works, because they all do work. It's just figuring out what one you want to do and which works for you. And the big mistake I see a lot of people making is they don't stick with one thing. They'll learn something for a month or two, try it out, and if it doesn't work, they'll quit. And that's terrible, because imagine if you stuck with that thing for a year. It's very hard to do something for a year and fail at it that long if you're consistently learning and actually trying. So most people quitting when they just start or fail once is probably the reason they think things don't work, and they'll jump from Shopify to Amazon to then cryptocurrency or doing something else online, and that is one of the biggest mistakes I see people doing. You need to research these different models. And after you've done the research, you know what they entail, kind of how it is, and you can get this information pretty much anywhere. You need to choose. What are you going to start? Choose it. So what business are you going to do? And you need to go all in on that business. Now, once you've chosen, you've probably learned a little bit about it, but you don't know how to do it all the way. You need to learn what you're doing. I know it sounds so blatantly obvious, but you need to learn. And so many people right away, all right, who's my mentor? Who will mentor me for free? Let me message everyone on Instagram real quick. No one's going to mentor you. You don't need a mentor. And the reason you see the big guys saying you need a mentor is because they want to be yours, because they want you to buy their course. Yes, I have a course. I'm not going to tell you that though. You don't need a mentor. There's so much information online. You can learn literally by Googling, by watching on YouTube. You can look up through forums. You can take an online course. I learned from doing YouTube, and then I took a course. That's what worked for me. I didn't touch anything else. You don't need a mentor. And so many of the bigger guys are going to tell you do. You don't. But you have to choose the method of how you're going to learn. And that's something that's going to need to be consistent throughout your entire journey, is you learning and staying up with the new content and just adapting, because you might think you know a certain good portion of what you need to know, but things can change, or you could have learned a little bit wrong and have to adjust that. And that's what happened to me. I was doing something wrong, did it for 2 products, and then was like, all right, well, I'll probably be done with this. It doesn't work like most people do. And then I went and I just learned for another month almost and learned what I was doing wrong. So you have to figure out next how you're going to learn. Next, what I like to do is I like to make a plan of action. So we know we have a goal. We want to get to $100,000. We know how much we have to make a day, how much we have to make a month. And obviously, it's not going to be linear where we're going to start day one and we're making up $273. Obviously, it's not like that. What I like to do is I like to create a couple types of goals. Now, I know most of you have heard of SMART goals: specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and trackable. But what I like to do is I like to create goals in almost separate categories. I like to create goals that are result-based. So if I want to make $100,000 in a year, that's a result. Or if I want to make $2,000 a month, that's a result-based goal. I have that. And I'll say, okay, if I want to make $100,000 a year, what actions do I have to take to get there? So I'm going to use the example for, I'll just say Amazon here. if I want to make $100,000 a year, what do I need to do? Well, maybe I need to do X amount of researching products, because I obviously need a good product that's going to sell if I want to be successful and make that money with Amazon. So I like to make these action steps. So things that I can accomplish no matter what. It's not based off of a result. So it could be, I want to research products every week for 4 hours. That's not a result. That's an action-based goal. And it's great to have those. You should be able to reach all of your action-based goals. And the result-based should pretty much almost sprout out from those actions for learning and doing everything correctly. And this is kind of how I set it up when I started my business. I said, okay, I originally started wanting to make $2,000 a month. That was my goal. And then I had all these actions I would do. Okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, do this. And from that, I almost created like a schedule for myself or a little daily planner. So when I was learning, this is what I kind of created. These are kind of the steps I had to take and what I had to do to accomplish. And this is just kind of the general, not so much goals, but almost my to-do list, what I needed to do. And some of these break down into smaller steps. And then after I created that, I had so many different little things I could do. I created a little schedule for kind of each day or month. So I would break down my day into 3 categories for my to-do list. I would have things I must do. So things I have to get done that day, pretty much no matter what. Next, I would have things I might do. So if I finish all my must-dos, I have things I might do, and I'll try and get done if I have the time to. And then I have things I probably won't do, but if I somehow complete all those are kind of the next up, or things I would do the next day that would be added to my to-do list. So I must complete these. So for this one, I would create an Amazon account, create a logo, start product research, and so on. And that all came from that initial kind of what I need to do. When I was learning, I was writing down the steps, and actions came from that. And that's how those goals, or almost my to-do list, came up to be. And then if you want to, I personally didn't do this, but I made a little mock-up one for you guys. Create a daily schedule. If you like being time-based, you can say, okay, I'm going to do this for an hour, this for an hour, this, and this is what my day is going to look like. I'm going to try and do this. Not every action you can put into a time and know how long it's going to take, but that is something I know a lot of people do like to do. Me personally, I do not. Now, I know a lot of you are probably overwhelmed by seeing those kind of to-do lists, the schedules, and all this information so far. And one of the big mistakes I see people making is they don't know where to start, or they'll say they don't know where to start. And the reason usually is they are trying to figure out steps 1 through 50 before they even take step number 1. You don't have to know every single thing before you get started. Most people, it's the quote, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Well, so many people are worried about mile 999 that they won't even take step 1. Start. If you know how to do step 1, do step 1. Yes, it's nice to know and plan, but this can cripple people from taking action. This is something that it does me also. I like planning and seeing everything laid out, but you can't always do that completely. I'm not saying go in blind and be stupid and make dumb decisions. Yes, you should know, but if you're worried, an example here, if you're going to sell on Amazon and you're worried about how to run ads for your Amazon product and you haven't even started creating an account or doing product research, you're letting it cripple you. Don't worry about step 50 when you haven't even started step 1 yet. So once you guys have done this, the rest is really on you to learn and to go and take action and implement this. These are just the strategies I used. These work with pretty much any model, but this is my framework that I use whenever I'm starting a new business, or if someone's asking me, where do I start? How do I start? I don't know what to do. Laying this out really tells you what you need to do, when, and how, and has helped me a ton. Now, some of the things you guys need to know, we talked about this earlier. You will probably fail a couple times before you succeed. Some more than others, some don't. It really depends. But sticking with something, I failed for Amazon for 6 months. I failed 3 different products, and I said, okay, on my 4th product, if this doesn't work, I'm going to quit and I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to try something else. And of course, on that 4th product, I put a lot more effort. I was learning a lot more and did the things I knew I should do. And I went from making $1,000 a month to $10,000 that next month. And then the next month, 12. And then the next month, 18. And the next 20. And it just grew from there. So don't just quit because you failed once. Entrepreneurship's all about adapting. You need to learn what you did wrong, why that happened, and how you can fix it moving forward. And if that takes going and learning a lot more, so be it. That's something you might have to do. Entrepreneurship's always about just learning and adapting to problems. It's really that simple. You can learn the rest. It's not hard. And it's also all about, one, taking action, which I know you guys know, you've heard so many times, but really being consistent. You cannot be successful if you're not consistent, in my opinion. Some of the big things you guys need to avoid, the biggest mistakes I see is, number one, feeling the need to network. Everyone in this kind of era of entrepreneurship feels the need to network. And I'm not saying networking is bad. I'm not saying you shouldn't. But so many people want to network when they have zero value themselves. No one that has any value is going to want to network with you if you have zero value. And that's the same way with if you ask anyone you see on Instagram, the bigger guys that are successful, to mentor you, they're not going to. It doesn't work like that. And so many people think, I need a mentor, I need to network, that's how I'm going to find success. You need to have value. And once you do, people will come to you. You don't have to network. You should. Once you have some value you can give to others, it'll just be reciprocated back and forth. But so many people want to go to events, and these are just kind of motivational things, ways to almost waste time, waste money. And you just need to master your skill, and then other people will reach out to you. That's what worked for me. I've never really networked at all, but I had, once other people saw I was good at what I was doing, they reached out to me, and now I can reach out to other people and have them actually respond back and work with me because of that kind of track record I have and the value I can bring them. So don't feel like you just have to network because that's what everyone likes to talk about and do. You need to have some value first. And that kind of leads into this other trap I see a lot of people in. It's thinking you need a partner. So many people want a partner because guess what? If you fail, it's not just on you. It's you guys together. And that is kind of a cop-out. Whether you know it's for that reason or not, I think that's the reason a lot of people do it. And it's just not a good decision, in my opinion, because one of you is going to be more motivated. One of you is going to do more work. Whether it's you or not, it's not worth the partnership, especially splitting profits. If you're watching this video and they're probably not going to see a video like this or put in the time and effort, most people aren't serious. They'll do it for a week or two, and then if they don't see quick results, they'll be done. And then it's going to be all on you, and you're still partners. You don't need to partner. Even if money's the issue, follow this. You don't need to partner. It's not really going to benefit you until you get to way later on stages of finding success. And the last trap to avoid, I see so many people doing this and it frustrates me so much, is people starting investing as an income. You're going to go trade stocks. You're going to invest in cryptocurrency. If that's your sole income, I'm sorry, but that is awful. Investing can be a source of income, but it shouldn't be your main source of income in a business you're trying to start. Yes, you can make money from doing it. Yes, you can be somewhat consistent, but being able to lose that much money or gain that much, and it's always up and down, you always have to be doing it. It's not passive. It's just not a business that I personally would start. And the majority of people, let's just say, have less than $1,000. You're not going to make any money from $1,000 investing compared to if you started a business. Let's just say you get the average 7% a year return from investing. Great, you just made $70 in a year tying up $1,000. I think doing any of these other things I showed you, you might make a little more than $70. And if you're saying, well, I have different strategies I'm going to use, well, they're probably a lot riskier if you're making or potentially can make that much more. So investing is not a business. It can be a great way to supplement an income, but it shouldn't be your main income. So that's all I got for this video. I hope it was really useful for you guys. I'm going to leave everything pretty much I talked about in the description for you. Hopefully you got a lot of value from this. You guys are going to go figure out how to make 6 figures, choose your business, follow the steps, write it out, and send me if you guys do choose a business, write out a plan, make your steps. I want to see them. I want to see what you guys come up with. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video.